I'm seeing a lot of mixed opinions about the book I am going to be reviewing today. Should you read it or should you pass it by? Find out what I thought about it next. Hello, my name is Floss. This is the Grape Jelly Library where we love to talk about books. Thank you for joining me. I always look forward to your visit. Today, we are going to be reviewing Shirley Jackson's We Have Always Lived in the Castle. So many people have been recently reading this, which I find that odd because I have never heard of the book. I'm not very familiar with Shirley Jackson. I know, tisk tisk, Floss, shame on me. But I'm becoming familiar with her work. Now, the reason why I picked this up is because I love a good chalk drawing. My bookstore, Barnes & Noble, it put it out there just before the Halloween season. It put it out there in full view, as you know how the books are tucked away and they're not as noticeable, but when they start pulling them from the shelves and placing them, and then you're like, what do we have here? This one caught my eye. So at $17, I picked it up. Interesting cover. All right, so that in and of itself intrigued me. It was enough to put it on my stack of books before I walked out the door. It took me a little bit to get to it. When did I purchase this? Oh, it took me a lot of it. I'm such a fibber. I bought this in May. I bought it on May 23rd. So scratch all that Halloween business. Although they did keep it out. You know, I did see it all Halloween long. And that is probably why people started picking it up, because maybe other stores or outlets started to promote this one a little bit heavier because of the season. And that is why so many people have recently read this book. Now everything is making sense. But anyways, now let's talk about the storyline or the premise of this book. So what we have are two sisters, Constance and Mary Cat. And Mary Cat is a little bit childlike in her ways, even though she's a teenager. I want to say she's 18 years old. They live in the castle that was the family home, her mom and her dad's. But they passed away, and now it is just Constance, Mary Cat, and their Uncle Julian. And Julian is in a wheelchair, and although, you know, they are well off, they do have a bank account. So they're not for want. But what they don't have is the support, the love, the camaraderie of a community, of a neighborhood. They are definitely outsiders, outcasts. They are definitely shunned. It seems that the townspeople, other than to ridicule them and make fun of them, want no part of them. Once a week, one of the sisters ventures into town to get all the groceries. They do have an ample garden planted on their premises, but they go in for the staples: milk, eggs, bread, that sort of thing. And they are taunted. One of the girls stays home. One of them ventures into town. While in town, she feels the need to stop in to this little quaint coffee or tea shop. Even though she's not very fond of the flavor of it, she feels like it's her obligation or her duty to do so. Even though when she does step into this shop, she knows that the menfolk are going to pick on her. Ever resilient, she feels obliged, and she stays true to herself and ventures into the shop each and every time. Okay, so now she has quite a haul that she has to carry with her back home, and they kind of have their own little path that they travel. It's to keep the what do I want to say, want-nots, or we'll say the less desirables out. And by less desirables, I mean the town folk. They're not nice, and you know, who wants that kind of people around? If you can't be nice, stay away. Did I like this book? Yes, I love this book. I'm giving it 5 stars. Yes, indeedy, I am. If you have the opportunity to read this book, I would say pick it up. It's a unique read. It's fun. It's entertaining. I wasn't bored at any point in the story, and even at one particular point where, even though I don't think the story went stale at any point, there was a little twist in where we are paid a visit by a long lost cousin by the name of Charles. I feel that Charles's presence in this story was essential. He came in with an R, or a demeanor of someone somewhat sophisticated. Yes, like a prim and proper, and then somehow his true colors began to shine through, as often they do. I felt like his character was appreciated so much because of that little twist that they put in the story and on his character. Yeah, so I felt like all of the characters were relatable. I felt like the story was very homey. It is gothic, but you know, it's kind of cottagey. They're living off the land. They have knowledge of mushrooms. It's just kind of a naturalistic vibe, twisted with gothic folklore, murderous, scandalous, yet lovely and inviting. Does that make any sense? Okay, so I am being serious. I know I'm laughing a lot, but I am being serious in what I'm trying to convey to you about the story without giving any spoilers. I hope I piqued an interest or intrigued you enough to say, what the heck is Flossie talking about? Maybe I'll pick this up and try to decipher what she's trying to convey. Do yourself a favor. It's a quick little read, although it took me forever. I guess life got a little bit busy for me, and I so wish that I was able to sit down and read it from cover to cover in this amount of time. I feel like, you know, I would have appreciated the story even more, but because my story was choppy, the story itself was not choppy. My reading of it was choppy. It was kind of like when you're watching a sitcom and Bonzarelli's gonna jump the shark, and you're excited and you're scared for him, and oh my God, what's gonna happen? And then those magical words appear on your screen, to be continued. That's how my book experience of this was. It kept having to be continued because of little things like work and family and household chores and the such. But anyways, seriously, pick this book up, do yourself a favor, nestle in, get comfy cozy with your snacks and your drinks, and put your silencers on and tune the radio dial to off, out, whatever, and focus and zone in on this fabulous little world that these two sisters have created for themselves. And that is my review of Shirley Jackson's We Have Always Lived in the Castle. Until we meet again, know that I love you. Be well, be good, be reading, and may all your book dreams and dreams otherwise come true.